and welcome to another episode of Focus on Tomorrow. Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us at www.focusontomorrow.org. You can email us at focusontomorrow.org. Today, my guest is Uriel. Hi, Uriel.
Hey, what's going on, Bakr? How you doing?
We're gonna be talking about something new today. How the presidency has been really, out there. How Donald Trump been elected. It was like no one actually thought about it, especially in Chicago. And what are your thoughts about that?
Man, my thoughts about Donald Trump winning the election?
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of thoughts about it. I mean, starting off with the point of how he won. Mm-hmm. I believe how he won was he ended up winning more electoral votes, right? He got the more popular vote.
Hillary actually got more population vote. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think starting off right there, I don't know, man. I personally didn't vote for Trump. I personally don't like Trump, but the kind of story, like getting into Trump and talk about Trump is kind of intriguing because a lot of people have their views about this guy, like negative wise and like positive wise. I guess people get different opinions, but for me, I thought it was BS. I personally think that he should have never won. I personally think that the popular vote should have got it from the longest, and Hillary should have won in a landslide. You know what I mean? This guy's very evil of a man. He's very bad at what the things that he does, and not only that, but like him winning presidency, people gotta understand that like it's gonna be a lot of change in the world, and it's up to us to try to see if we could put a stop to it, especially for us who's a minority, for all the Latinos and the gay lesbian community and the black community. I think everyone has to stand together and just try to find a way to fight it. Of course now, because he won presidency, there's all this protesting going on. There's all this, there's all this marching going on of how they don't want him to be president. And I think that's good and all. I think that's great. And honestly, I think that's a start of like, trying to get him out of there. Maybe from possibly impeaching him, doing something maybe to make some kind of change or to get his mind right. Get his mind right and know that trying to go back to the old ways and how it was when the Constitution first started. It's not like that no more. It's not 1876 no more. It's 2016. 2016 times has changed. Culture has expanded. People of all kinds of gender and race, are in this world now, in this country alone, and a lot of things are different now. And people gotta understand that we can't go back to the old ways and how we used to, and we just have to find a way to find a common ground, because there's not really gonna be never no answer when it comes to politics. There's never no answer, and that's what's hard about it, The main thing is you need to find a common ground, and the thing is, like, right now, Trump winning presidency, we have no common ground, We would have, the Democrats and Republicans, in the same room, and there would be some kind of, like, fighting common ground where, everything's settled and everything's okay and they're going to do what they have to do, but the fact that Trump is there now, we lost that common ground, so we'll look forward to see what goes on the next 4 years.
Yeah, since Tuesday, there have been a lot of protests over the city. If Donald Trump won the election by rules, what are people so upset about?
I think they're just upset of how he won. I think they're just mad at the fact that all these months of like giving him all this petty basically, and give him the maturity that we are. Give him all these skits, all these memes that we see on social media, just talking so much stuff and talking bad about him, and saying, oh, Trump's not gonna be my president, Trump's not gonna be this, Trump's not gonna be that, and it's like, for what? He still ended up winning, and I guess that's what kind of gets people really upset. And not only that, but the fact that, the other candidate is not too good for herself either, So it's like kind of two of the lesser evils that we have to deal with. But the fact that Trump won and there all this protesting, I mean, hopefully it changes. I mean, like I said before, hopefully it changes, and hopefully the system needs to be different. Definitely needs to be different from the way they elect them.
All right. So let's get into the car accident during David Wilcox.
You mean Wilcox?
Wilcox, my bad. Was involved into a car accident, and hold on, we have a caller.
Yes, how you doing, young fellas? Listen, I'm Mexican American. I'm 68 years old.
Okay.
Fought for my country in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And I didn't go protesting if I lost something. Listen, you want to win, go vote. This was one of the lowest outputs of voting. And then the people are in the streets yelling and screaming, burning stuff down. Man, be a man. Be a young woman. Take it. I want to go vote. I hope you guys, if you were old enough to go vote. Because I don't want to see nobody that's protesting that didn't go vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Exactly, and he's right. He's right. I mean, people need to go out there and vote, and I think that's why we emphasize the voting so much this year for the election, because if we don't go out there and vote, bad stuff will happen. You know what I mean? And Trump winning the election, and this is a perfect example of us not doing what we got to do right, especially for the people who have an opportunity to vote. Us Latinos, us Black people, us gay, lesbian people who want to make some kind of difference for the country and to move forward. We actually have an opportunity to go out there and vote, and we actually had an opportunity to make a change, and some of us didn't do that. Some of us didn't go out there and vote. Some of us kids felt like because it was two of the lesser evils, there's no way for us to go out there and vote. So, yeah, I mean, we definitely recommend everyone just go out there and vote, And then going back to the Wilcox story,
Yeah.
The story was apparently
he got hit by a car and someone attacked him while he got into an accident, and someone ran up to him and said, "You shouldn't vote for Donald Trump." Well, and he beat him up.
You see, and exactly. So so what that story was, of course, they how are you just gonna do that for a Trump supporter? Not only that, but like what's crazy is like that's us. That example of Wilcox getting run over and getting beat up because he was a Trump supporter is basically an example of the hate that we all have for this guy. And not only that, but like me being Mexican American, and from the outcome of this election, I felt different in a way, you know what I mean? And I kind of feel the same way these people feel in the way they jumped him. I'm not saying that it was a good thing for them to jump him, No one should ever get beat up for who they're running for, because whoever's opinion is their own opinion, and no one should ever get beat up like that or ever get run over for any kind of reasons, especially for any kind of one who's voting. So my thing is like, I see why there's so much hate there and so much tension, because like Donald Trump being the racist that he is, and knowing he had lower class, white people attention, and he made them vote, and he actually had opportunity to win, it gets everyone mad, and it gets everyone thinking like, man, like, now that Trump won, I look at a white person and be like, no, like, like he voted for Trump. And people get racist right away. It's like basically seeing like you see a white guy and you automatically think like he possibly voted for Trump, and it's actually divided like that. And I seen that now, and it's crazy, and it's really really sad. That the fact that we're so divided now, and the fact that he just got jumped is just horrible. And honestly, like beating up other supporters of whoever for Trump, that's not the way to go. I mean, violence like the last caller had, violence is just not the way to go, dude. Like, it's not the way to go. There's no answers for it. There's no change if you're gonna just bring up any kind of violence. So the fact that this man was harassed and he got beat up for him supporting Trump, it's sad. And honestly,
no one came to help him too.
And exactly, no one came to help him either. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is like, do you possibly think he was even a Trump supporter? Did it say that he was a Trump supporter?
And actually, the question was, are we profiling people in Chicago now?
Are we profiling people in Chicago? Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's I think that's probably the question that I was saying now. Like I see a white guy and automatically I think he's a Trump supporter. So me personally, I'm not profiling anyone. But as far as people, are people profiling each other in Chicago? Yes, I definitely think, and that's been going on even before the election. Profiling is always been key here in the city, and honestly, from the fact that this election's been on, I think hopefully doesn't get any worse, and I pray that it gets better, and I pray that we move on from all that, from profiling, because we're just human, man. We're all one. We all should love each other. There's no need to profile anyone.
All right, let's get into the Chicago Cubs pitcher Jake Arrieta. Caused some day after election that he posted a message on the Twitter, and he said he needs time for Hollywood to pony up and head for a border, I think. Yeah,
for the border.
And hashtag I'll help you back. Hashtag beat it.
Oh my God! You see, I could talk about for days. You see, the thing about that, that makes it look really bad on his side, personally, especially for all the people who are Cubs fans, and specifically for the people who are Cubs fans who are Latinos, Latino descent, or who are in Black descent. You know what I mean? Who are any kind of Latino, any kind of Latino concept. But my thing is like him saying that really, I believe, changed the perspective of how everyone looks at the Cubs, especially Jake Arrieta. He's a Cy Young MVP award winner. You know, he's a World Series championship now. You know, champion, and he's a championship for the Chicago. He's a champion for the Chicago Cubs. You know, in Chicago. You know, knowing that we're the most diverse city in the nation. You know, there's all kinds of cultures here, and there's, you know, and there's all kinds of different people here. Not only that, but there's all kinds of different people in Chicago from the fan base wise. But not only that, but like there's also Latino people inside his team. You know, there's also people who are not inside his own team, inside his own dugout. So,
but from that, his coach actually retweeted, or he said it's about his freedom of speech.
John Madden or was it the owner?
It was the owner.
What's his name again?
His name, I'm not sure. I think his name is Theo Aspen.
Aspen, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what exactly you guys were talking about. Yeah,
they were talking about his First Amendment. Mm-hmm. So his freedom of speech, whatever he wants to say, he could. So.
You see, and exactly. I guess, and like that right there tells you, like, we can go and continue back what I was saying. You know, Arrieta's a Cy Young winner. He is part of he's part of an organization that's been around for a long time and that's recently made history. You know what I mean? And you mix all that in with all the emotions in the city of, like, you know, all the emotions going on in the city of them winning a championship, and you mix the emotions of the election going on, and you mix the emotions of all the minorities and all the, you know, and all the people who are being discriminated, you know, from this type of election and from the world. And he says something like that on Twitter, especially on a social media platform where everyone gets to see it, was just really, really bad. And gives me every reason to know and to reason why, like, I just don't like the Chicago Cubs. You know, and that tells you right there. I mean, the fact that, you know, even the owner was saying, I mean, that's a way of doing a freedom of speech, but it's like, that kind of tells me too, then, like, he's supporting it as well. You know what I mean? Have it be like if his owner was Latino or if his owner was black, and, you know what I'm saying, the pitcher who was white said that on social media, I would personally think he would react differently. But the fact that this guy is, you know, of white descent, who was the owner, and he said that it was a way of freedom of speech, it makes me think that, all right, he's supporting what he's saying, and he's supporting his actions and what he says, and he's supporting Trump. He's supporting the bad. He's supporting the bad in which we don't want to see in the world. Yeah. And the fact that he's a Chicago Cubs player, he's a pitcher, he's a Cy Young winner, a champion, he said that. Yeah. Like, how are you gonna gain your fan base back? You know, how are you gonna?
Yeah, he might lose his fans.
How are you gonna get your fan base now? Like, how are you gonna be welcome inside the dugout, dude? When you have you know, bias, you have all these people of different descents, different ethnicities in the same dugout. You're gonna go in and say that? Like, it's just horrible.
We have a caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yeah. What's your question for today?
Yeah, regarding Arrieta, you're making the comment. In other words, that gentleman can't say how he feels. After all, it was the Stars who made the presentation on the media saying that if Trump is elected, they're leaving the country to go to Canada. All he's saying is repeating what they says, waiting for them to pack up and go. He has a legal right to say that. And also, I don't see how you figure Trump is racist. First of all, if you're breaking the law, you have to answer to the law. When somebody is illegal, that means the law is broke. Illegal, that goes German, Polish, Mexican, whatever the case. Do you think if we went to Germany and we were illegal in Germany, that we could stay there? I don't think so. So as far as your comments go, you're a little off base there. I think you should check your history. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on, actually. And
no. Actually, going back to what he was saying, you know, you know, I mean, I understand you have to go back to knowing your history, and yeah, he does have a right to doing a freedom of speech, but like the fact that, you know, all I'm saying is him saying that kind of comment, you know, it just makes it look really bad on him personally, you know, especially living in the city of Chicago, you know, he was a champion. I just feel like it just makes him look really, really bad. And everyone who has hate for him after that comment has every right to hate for him, because, you know, I mean,
yeah, that's their freedom of speech.
Yeah, that's their right for them to be angry at them and not to be the thing. And yeah, of course, it's his right to do it. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, it's hurtful. It's hurtful, dude. Like it's those kind of words that you say on social media, and we see that, you know, especially being a Latino myself. You know, it's hurtful. like, this is the type of player that we look up to. This is the type of player that my little nephews and my little nieces look up to. You know what I mean? They see his skill. They see how dominant he is of a player, you know? And for him to say that kind of thing, it's like, kind of makes you just look at him a little differently, you know?
Yeah,
like, maybe he's not racist, you know? Maybe, like you were saying, maybe Trump, maybe Trump, I'm not going to Trump, but speaking of Arietta, maybe he is not racist. Maybe he was saying that, you know, for the comments, but like for him saying that, I could personally think he could have just switched it up a little more. And, you know, and I truly believe Trump is really a racist. I'm not going to really get into that right now. I got no
well, yeah,
energy.
that's your
That's my opinion. I mean, I truly believe Trump is a racist. You know what I mean? I could definitely say he's a racist, you know, hands down. And no one, and I bet you there's hundreds of millions of people who agree and disagree with me. Yeah. And it's no problem.
That's like your first amendment. So
yeah, right, exactly. That's your first right. Yeah. Learning your history, what you do. So, I mean, going back to Jake Arrieta, I was never a Cubs fan, you know, so him saying that comment gave me a reason why I'm not a Cubs fan and why I personally think that his decisions of saying that on Twitter and the owner's right to support him is just wrong. It's just really, really wrong, especially what's going on in the world. It's just really wrong of what's going on, and honestly, people should look at that a little more than just trying to shrug it off like it ain't nothing, you know?
Okay, yeah. What's it called? The Cook County Board approved a new tax on the sugary drinks, which amount to a penny per second. A new tax is supposed to be rise and prevent jobs cut in a new county criminal justice system. So they're saying the amount of pops should pay more, or the taxes encourage people to stop drinking it altogether.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's to each his own, because you could kind of like taxing the sugary drinks, that's obvious. I mean, that was probably going to happen. It's actually a good idea. I mean, for people who want to be a little, you know, be a little on the healthy side, and not only that, but, you know, prevent yourself from, you know, getting yourself ahead. But, I mean, it's still there. They're just taxing you more. So it's kind of like a situation where it's like cigarettes almost, you know what I mean? Like, it's like cigarettes are taxing every half year here in the city of Chicago. And we know it's bad for us, and we know it has a bunch of health problems, but we still manage to pay that extra little tax. So if you relate that to sugary drinks and you relate that to, you know, taxing it up, honestly, and people are going to be upset about it, but are they going to care? I personally think they're probably not going to care, because they're still going to pay for it. I mean, I'm sure if they charge an extra 10 cents for a Gatorade, I'm more than sure I probably will pay the extra 10 cents for the Gatorade, because I like Gatorade so much, you know? Same thing if you're going to buy a McDonald's Whopper or McDonald's Big Mac, you know what I mean? If it's $4 and they want to charge me $5, but I love McDonald's Big Mac that much, I would definitely pay another $1 for it, because I would do it. But I mean, what do you think on that? I mean, do you drink a lot of sugary drinks? Do you eat drink a lot of soda?
Yeah, I do. You know, that's personally like my favorite thing. But then if like, you know, you go outside and then there's like, it costs more, tax costs more than, you know, the amount of pop, I wouldn't buy it, you know, my personal opinion. So let's move on, actually, shifting to gear to sports. There is among the Bull fans out there, right? They're trading Nikola Mirotic during his rookie season. He looked like he was developing up players and making 20 points per game. You know, he was scoring, and 7.5 per while shooting 37.5% of, you know, on the field and 24% on the 3-point range.
Right.
So do you think the Bulls consider moving on to another direction?
Man, you see, I could definitely talk on this topic a lot. I think everyone who's watching this could agree on their own opinion. I think this is where it gets really fun. Nikola Mirotic, should he get traded? Should he not get traded? If he's gonna get traded, I would definitely want to get him for someone who's really, really valuable, not for someone who's equal as him. You know, kind of like the last trade that the NBA Bulls had, where they had
D-Rose.
No, not the D-Rose. Oh. Yeah, the D-Rose too. Exactly. You know, Speaking, if you want to go to D-Rose, we can start off with D-Rose. I think the D-Rose situation was kind of bad too, trading him. Consider the fact that we traded D-Rose and we got basically nothing back for him. I mean, we got Brook Lopez back and we got a couple draft picks. We just got rid of him just to make some space. And we got rid of Joakim Noah as well. So we got these key players that we had, and they were Chicago natives. You know, they were great people. They were great players. And they were good at what they did. He was MVP season, and of course Rose had his injury setbacks where he was doing pretty bad, and then he only played like 82 games throughout like 3 seasons, and you have that kind of situation. So like adding on to that, like Rose was kind of like basically a girlfriend that you didn't want to break up with. You know what I mean? Rose was kind of like a relationship that it was better off if you just let it go. You know what I mean? Like, letting it go will be much better than just holding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as we try so hard to hold on to Rose and we try to keep them and we try to make sure we
it's not
try
a
to
want.
get,
It's not a want, but it's a need.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, much as we want Rose to be with the Bulls and we want him to develop around the new players and to be the greatest player that he wants, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. I mean, it's basketball and it's business. And the thing about basketball and the thing about business is they want a ring and they want a championship ring now. And they're going to do whatever they can to get it. And the way the Bulls are, we know Jimmy Butler up and coming. You know, we had D-Wade, we had everyone coming off their contracts in 2016, so everyone's re-signing. So we had that in the mix, and I guess it was just time to let go of Rose, you know?
Yeah.
So my thing is, all right, we get rid of Rose, we get rid of Noah. That's no problem. We'll do that. All right, I'm in. But we get, I don't know how many different kind of round picks, and we get some bums basically. We get who do we get?
Rookies.
I forgot. I know we got a couple picks. We got a couple of mediocre players for Rose. Now, I call them mediocre because I mean they weren't all-star caliber. They weren't MVP caliber teams. They were just getting traded left and right from different other teams, and that upset me because like man, like he's more valuable than that. Like you're gonna tell me that we have all this, we had all these assets in our team, and Rose did so much for our team, and you know he was an MVP year and. He was an MVP caliber team, and not only that, but that same season before he got traded, he was slowly but surely becoming his own player. He was averaging like 7 points. Yeah. He was averaging like 7 assists and like 12 to 13 points. So he was slowly becoming his player that he was, and not only that, but he was adapting to it, you know? And for us to just get rid of him was like, it was heartbreaking. But going to Niko Mirotic, that goes together as well because, you know, we don't have Noah no more. So we don't have the defensive, you know, backcourt that we used to have anymore. We have Taj, we have we don't have no one ever really dunked before. He always go for them, you know, it was always Taj. But, like, you know, my thing is, like, we don't have that big man asset no more.
Yeah.
So for me to get rid of Niko Mirotic, this is where he was, third season with us. And, yeah, he shoots a lot of threes. He shoots so many threes that I get really upset about. And I think it's really dumb that he does that. And the fact that, you know, he hasn't developed yet, I mean, a lot of people use the excuse where, you know, because he was a professional player prior to coming to the NBA. He was just in Europe, you know, he was just playing in Spain. He was playing professionally in Europe. So, you know, people could say that he came and he had to get adapted to it and he wasn't really used to it. But it's like, dude, like, it's already been like your third, fourth season already. Like, you should be the player that we expected you to be. And we're expecting you to be, and you should be the player that you are. You know, you're great. He's a great, talented player, and I think personally, like if we're gonna trade him, just trade him for someone valuable. Let's get someone valuable for him, and not someone who's basically the same caliber as him. And get rid of him. And
Bulls have been like great since like you know Michael Jordan. They've been before that too. They've been really great. You know, they've been winning.
But Michael Jordan was like in the 90s.
90s, yeah.
Michael Jordan was in the 90s, so like we kind of been slumped. We've been slumped since like forever. You know, we barely picked up the skill. We barely picked up a really good strong team by like 2010, 2011 when Rose was coming in. So to get rid of Niko Mirotic, would I want to get rid of Niko Mirotic? If I was to name a couple players I would want from Mirotic, which I probably think won't happen because you know Mirotic is a power forward. So if you're gonna bring any kind of other power forward, maybe like DeMarcus Cousins. You know, DeMarcus Cousins, if you're hearing me, definitely try to come to the city. To probably like him, but I mean, if it's gonna be for a valuable player, I would definitely want to try to go for Mirotic. Definitely trade him. But if it's not gonna be for a valuable player, then no, there's no need to trade him. There's no need to get rid of Mirotic. You know, the kid is averaging his good points. He's doing what he has to do. You know, and hopefully he just picks up his game. He gets used to it. That's the thing. Like, it's a good season so far, so we can't even I can't even say too much. So once we get to the middle of the season, then I'll start talking about it, and we'll see if I want to trade him or not. If we think we should trade him.
All right. Any last thing you would like to say?
I think basically be you and votes. Definitely vote.
Yeah.
We've seen this bad election going on, and you know all these crazy stuff's going on, all these protests, and if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything.
All right.
Stand for something.
As we all know, Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us at www.focusontomorrow.org. You can also email us at focusontomorrow.org. I would like to thank my guest, Uriel.
Thank you, Baka. I appreciate it.
See you next time.